Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're so excited to have you at our session. I am Cynthia Sanchez. I am one of the librarians here at Palo Alto. Today's presentation will be better research papers with NoodleTools. We have the three librarians are here to present. Myself, and we have Linda Plevac. You can see her there, and Tosca Gonzalez. You probably know, if not all three of us, one of us.
My hand is not coming up. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. One thing before we go, we welcome anyone taking themselves off mute and asking questions. All right, so please feel free to interrupt. All right, so let me get started. Give me one sec here. All right, so today we're going to learn about our on-campus and virtual library services coming back from COVID. Things have been changing, things are new, so we want to review what we have available in the library for you and your students. We're also going to do a review of NoodleTools, what it is, how to create an account, and kind of tinker with it a little bit so you'll be familiar, and share that with your students as well. Then we will review some of the faculty resources within that, so that way you'll know other things that you can work with as a faculty member. So we'll go ahead and get started. So let me go ahead and do an overview of what's happening now with the library now that we're coming back this fall. So we will have both on-campus and virtual services. We will be available at this time. Our schedule is Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Fridays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and we will be open on Sundays, 1 to 5. So we are still retaining those Sunday hours as we had in the past. They're just going to be a little bit shorter. We are closed on Saturdays, but the Sunday does not start on the 21st of August. It starts the following, which is the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. So just wanted to share that with you. One thing that's coming back that was closed during our COVID time is the children's library. We're still in process of getting that going. It will no longer be on the first floor. It will be on the second floor with our main library, but we are still working on things, and we'll send messaging out on that with full details at a later time. But I just wanted to let everybody know that it's coming back. We also have our Center for Microscopic Studies. And what this is one room that we have along with our study rooms. It's a small room. We work with Brad Chandler. We try to work with our faculty whenever we can and collaborate. And we worked with Brad Chandler from biology, and we're able to dedicate a small study room to microscopic studies. He brought several microscopes over, and he brought slides as well. And the slides are available at the circulation desk, and they are on reserve. So students can check them out during time outside of their lab time. So we're very glad to be able to collaborate with that and support a STEM initiative as well. Just want to highlight something that's very important: study spaces. Something that we heard from our students when we came back, when we trickled in from COVID, was study spaces. They need a wonderful space, a quiet space, a dedicated space to study, and we have those for our students. We have a collaborative zone, which is an area in the library that has a large table so students can work together in groups if they're working on group projects. We also have quiet zones, and these are the open study spaces. So we have a quiet zone on the east side of the library and on the west side of the library that are quiet areas, so we don't allow talking or collaboration in those areas, so students can study quietly. In addition, you probably heard about our study rooms. They are very popular. We have large group study rooms that seat up to 6 people, medium study rooms that seat up to 4 people. In the group study rooms, there is a whiteboard and a digital monitor, so students can screencast from their devices to the monitor if they're working on a PowerPoint presentation, or they need to view content as a group. We have 3 large group study rooms and 3 medium study rooms. So there's a wait list usually for those. We also have individual study rooms. I believe there's 5 of them, and that is for one person to study quietly. That has a desk, a chair, and a study space within. It's a small study space, but it's quiet. All the rooms are checked out for 2 hours, and they're checked out at the circulation desk. Sometimes students, and what we noticed when we came back from COVID, is that sometimes they have a Zoom class in between in-person classes, so that worked out really great for them to get a study room and be able to utilize that resource. We also have library exhibits. We do them in collaboration with Student Life, and we have exhibits for Latinx Month, Black History Month, Women's History Month, and we also celebrate Constitution Day, which is September 17th, and we currently have a Constitution Day exhibit, and we'll be giving away mini copies of Constitution, so students can come get their little mini copy while supplies last. We also, in collaboration with that Constitution Day exhibit, we have a women's suffrage exhibit, specifically Texas women. So it's a wonderful exhibit. I'll be sending messaging out on that, but it's wonderful if you could refer your students to that exhibit. All right, our circulation services. We are circulating print books and our DVDs. We also have a reserves collection. So remember, you can put materials on reserve. On our homepage is where we have the forms to put your materials on reserve. We also offer our interlibrary loan service and our tech share service, so we can obtain materials from other libraries. So you can work with a librarian on that. We have forms to request materials from other libraries on our library homepage. We have links for interlibrary loan, and then we can offer a tech share card, which allows you to check out at participating libraries that collaborate with TechShare, and that is all of the San Antonio public branches, UTSA, St. Mary's, Our Lady of the Lake, and we can give you more detail on that service. Our reference is back, so we're glad to provide a reference at a reference desk. So we are here in person, but we will continue our chat service. We also have our email. We have book a librarian appointments where students can set up an appointment with a librarian for up to 50 minutes. And get one-on-one assistance. Right now, we're doing them in Zoom, and beginning in the fall, we're going to do face-to-face sessions. We're still working out the scheduling on that, but that will happen in early fall. And that's a very important service because students can really get a hands-on experience with a librarian. Also, old school phone, people can call us and we actually answer the phone and talk to you. I know some of our students are not familiar with that concept anymore. But we are here and we answer the phone during our operating hours, but outside of our operating hours, you can leave us a phone message. You can send us a text, you can email us, and we'll get to you the next business day. As I mentioned, we have a text phone number here as well. And we have a robust set of FAQs available from the homepage as well. So maybe we can answer your question through the FAQ. So always take a look at that as well. Information literacy instruction. We're here to provide instruction as we have been in the past, both in person and in Zoom, and we're experimenting with recordings now. And for those asynchronous classes, we can prepare recordings as well of library instruction. So please keep in mind that we are here. We will work with you. We do have a 2-week minimum notice for a class due to our staffing situation. I know everybody is in a tight staffing situation as well. We are very much so in that. And so we really do need the notice in order to be able to work with your request. And we will try to do our best. If we can't, we'll work around it. We'll give alternatives. So we're here to work with you. So please look for that link on our homepage to request for library instruction. And again, it can be a general overview of how to use the library, research techniques, and so forth, but we can also customize the instruction to your assignment and create library guides for your students. So please keep that in mind. We have the information literacy modules. I know some of you use that already in your classes. It's a set of 6 modules that contain tutorials and videos on different aspects of information literacy, from citation to research techniques to academic integrity. So we have a set of these modules. Students can do them online. There's a link to them on the homepage. And at the end of each module, there is a short quiz. Students get the results for the quiz once they complete the quiz, and they can email those results to the instructor as proof of completion. So if you offer it as extra credit, incorporate it into your curriculum somehow, there's a proof of completion for completing the module and the quiz. And library guides, I mentioned that earlier. These are subject guides that we create for our faculty, and we create general subject guides, but we can also create subject specific or assignment specific guides. And we also have a faculty resources guide of the library. So we can provide all of this information and overview what we briefly talked about in that guide. So take a look for it. I'm going to put the link to it in the chat. Sorry, I didn't want to go so fast, but we're moving quickly. Any questions, comments? All right. Thank you.
Okay, and so next slide, I guess, Cynthia, right? Do you have what we're going to do is I'm going to send you a link to create a, oh, that's our just how to contact us. And this is going to be how to log in. I'm going to send you a link to our NoodleTools home. And you will actually, thank you, Alexis, I really appreciate it. I'm going to send you a link to a home page. This is our NoodleTools home. If you're at home, you will need to log in with your ACES username and your banner ID, just like it says there. If not, then you can log in directly and create a NoodleTools account. Can I just have show of hands or thumbs up or whatever? Do any of you have a NoodleTools account already? Okay, great. All right. Well, that's all right. Linda does. Yay. Okay, a couple of people do. Well, that's fine. So but if you could just bear with us while other people create their NoodleTools account. I'm going to, you want to stop share, I guess, or do you want to go to the next? Yeah, that's fine. I'll just do this. I'll just hop right to it and hopefully this will work. This is the page it's going to take you to. And whoa, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, good. Oh, yeah. Okay. I have two screens. I'm nice with two screens. So yeah, so it'll go to NoodleTools here. You're going to click, and again, which you'll do at the beginning of the year, they're going to ask you to authenticate at the beginning of each year. So even if Linda, if you go in, it will ask if you're still here and you know, re-up you for the next year. Once you've done this, you can go straight to NoodleTools online, and it's already authenticated you, and you can just use your username and password. Username and passwords, whatever you want it to be, just whatever you can remember. That's what we tell your students. And this is a little bit of information on how, little video, you can share that with your students on how to create an account. Again, we're happy to do that, but you can just send them this link and we can follow up and send this to you too. So, all right. Why don't you all give me a thumbs up when you are in? And then I'm going to go to the NoodleTools project too. The NoodleTools screen. It takes a little bit.
So if you don't have an account, please create one.
Yes. Yeah. Unless you want to just watch us, that's okay too. But yeah. So once you're in your NoodleTools, it'll actually have a blank screen here. That's what you should be seeing. And Tosca, I'll let you tell me if you're not seeing the right thing. Okay, let me know. Okay,
yes.
Great.
I have a question, Linda.
Yes.
Is this your student or your teacher account?
Teacher account. Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna look pretty much the same.
It's pretty much the same,
yeah.
But for certain things. Okay.
Yeah. So I've actually you have nothing here. I've actually created a project just to show you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth, and I hope this works because, you know, Zoom, but I'm going to kind of show you where you can do your own project. And then I've saved, you can see I've saved a project, and then I'll show you what it looks like that I've already created all those little things. So first I'm going to show you the features, and then I'm going to show you what I've put in those features. So if I'm creating a new project, I just click on the button up here. And I always like to tell students, you're going to like this side up here, and then on this side, there's more on the left-hand margin. But new project, and then you want to create whatever your project is my new project. And whatever citation style, we have MLA, APA, Chicago. And I always remind them that we're advanced. This is actually can go all the way K through 12 as well as through university. So make sure that they, you know, they may want to do the simple stuff, but they can use it, and you all can use it too with your elementary school students. But so for instance, I'll put MLA and I'll submit, and then it's going to create the project. I'm going to open up my new project, and I'm going to have basically a blank sheet. And there's many things I can do here. And I'm going to just show you the features, and then I'm going to go into the one that I created ahead of time. You can create your research question and your thesis statement up here on the top, the very top where I'm pointing my finger. And then you can actually create note cards, attachments, a to-do list, and then you can add sources. And I love the sources. I'm going to share that the new source, it walks you all the way through it. It drills down. So database, website, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And so obviously the most popular one is databases and websites. In fact, you can see if I click on database, it still kind of gives me, it tells me if it's conference and magazine article and such. It even has video clips and such. Website's going to be very much similar too, because you can see database, you know, you've got some things in there, and websites, you also have video clips and such. So they can almost be used interchangeably. I'm going to click on website just because that's your students and you may be doing that. So website is the one. And then I'm going to say that it's actually you can even do email citations or whatever. I'm going to say newspaper, and it'll actually, or I'll say because they like photos and such. I'll do a video clip. And then it'll actually give you what to fill in, okay? And then you can save it. Now I'm going to go to the one that I've already done and just poke around with that. And then I'll pause for a little bit and I'll let you go find one source and go to it. So I'm going to go back to my projects up here on the left. And I'm going to open up my circular economy versus fast fashion, because I'm already getting stoked and ready for that style show that we have in the fall. So I'm very excited. So I've already put 2 sources in there, and you can see you can cut and paste sources just like they are now. You can see that it says this is a copy of a pre-formatted citation. So what I did is I looked up something in our library databases. I went to the citation in the database, and I copied it and pasted it in here. So I'm going to open it up just to show you what that looks like. I'm going to go edit. And so when I've done this, it actually gives me the option to pre-format it here. So this is how it looks. And then when I save it, it actually more or less formats it for me. Okay. I'm going to do like a new source. Database, journal is where I put that. You only have to, I tell them this is a good way or to remember, is just like when you're buying things online, if it's got an asterisk, you have to put it, right? You know, that, which means you don't have to put everything else. And as I tease the students, but should you put an author if there's an author? Anybody know? Of course. So you want to for sure put every author that's there. You still want to put the title, but you could just put the name of the database because that's all that's required. Okay. But so you'd put all of your information in if you were hand putting it in, or up here on this on the right hand side, you can see you can copy and paste a citation. When you do the name of the database, the nice thing is you start typing and it'll give you the options. So we have academic search complete. So it's nice. You can be lazy, which is really good. And just actually click on it, let them complete for you. And then you can put in your information and such. You do have to put, of course, the name of the journal. So I'm going to say the Journal of Sustainability and Fashion. Maybe that's the name of a journal. And then the article title, of course. The other thing that I really like about this is if you are typing and you're typing it very fast, see that caution? The caution tells me, I hover over it, it'll tell me exactly what the problem is. It says, check to be sure Plevac is capitalized correctly. So that's pretty cool. The students like that. It actually catches those errors. And then it tells me, and then now that caution went away, which I really like. Okay. So that's very helpful. And then when you're done, you can actually put an annotation in here. And when you're done, then you actually just hit save. Okay. I'm not going to save this one because it's only a half one. I am going to show you, like, you can also go back and edit those sources. So of course it's going to be slow now. Edit the sources, and I can go back into here and do my edits. So this is a video clip that I did, and maybe this URL isn't working or something. I can always edit, but this is one that I manually put in using something from the web. That this is a real website, a real video. So, and then you can, even if you quick cited, you can tweak it manually too. So that's kind of nice. Then once you have your sources in there, you can actually tag them. So I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to tag this source. And here it gives me, is this a primary source, secondary, tertiary? So that's kind of nice. You can teach them about primary sources. You can also color tag. And this is very convenient because if you have a whole list of sources, you can say that, yes, I want to include this one in my sources, in my bibliography, or maybe I'm not sure, then I do blue, or maybe I do red, that no, I did not use this source after all. So it gives you those options. So I'm just going to do them both as green. Well, green's a bad color, so I'm going to do that they're tertiary sources. That's what I'll do. So I can still add them in, because green you might not be able to see. Okay, so before I actually show you what a bibliography looks like once I've created it, I also want to show you that there are note cards that you can do. So you can actually, the old note cards, but you can actually ask your students to do note cards and share them with you. And Tosca will talk a little bit more about that, but you can actually have students, or if you're doing your own project, you can create a note card and put information in it. And let me open it up. Come on. There we go. So here you can even put it in your own words. How does this fit in? Or do a direct quotation. This is actually something I cut and pasted from a particular article, from that article. And then it gives you the option to put that source in, just like I did. I already got this as a real source. And it even gives you the option for the in-text reference. I know I'm going really, really, really fast, but it's something you can play around with, and there isn't really you can't mess it up, okay? But it's just something that's available to you. And then I'm going to, I'll show you one more thing in a little bit, but let me go ahead and have you go ahead and find a source. Just go out to the internet and go ahead and put, create a citation. And then you can kind of see how that feature works. And I'm going to look at the chat in the meantime.
Oh, that's what I was going to say, because you do have a question in the chat.
Yes, ma'am.
Diana was asking, what if students are researching multiple topics since they have a choice of topics?
True. So what I would suggest in that case is that they would, if you were, they're going to have their own individual accounts. So it's not, the teacher's not going to have they're going to have access in their own accounts. So if they were choosing a topic, they might, and maybe even you're going to give them a couple days, a couple topics. I would have them go in and create a project for each topic, and then doing a little bit of research, and then putting a couple of sources in there. Maybe just have them do, I would say no more than 2, just because they have harder time finding, we just find sources fairly easily, I hope. So I would just have them put a few sources in there, just see what's available, and then get back to you. Or if they're doing, one project that has multiple topics, I'm not sure how that would be, but they could use just one project and then they could sort the topics within the project somehow. But I would say do a separate one for each topic. And while we're on that, when I opened up, this is just this year's, and I'm going to go back to my projects. I have to move things out of the way here. This is for this year. This is one that I just created. So in previous years, which is kind of nice the way they sort it now, is these are all the projects I have in here. And so I'm kind of glad that they've done this now, because I open it up and the students look and they're like, oh, whoa, you've got all those projects in there. And it's just for me teaching classes, and they'll have a blank slate. So they are able to organize by year, which is good. And that's actually, I'm going to use one of these when I show you the bibliography, just because it has more things to show you. Yeah. So it can show you, I'll show you, it'll be easier to show you that.
But just to reiterate, so every person that uses this, whether a teacher or a student, has to have their own account. And it might be a good idea, if you encourage your students to use it in your class, to also tell them it's not limited to your class. They can use it for all classes they have projects for, and as long as they're here. So it's more, to get greater benefit.
Yes. And so one of the things I want to share is I'm going to show you one that has 5.
May I also suggest something that I've worked with students on is actually using the course number. So for example, put HIST, HIST 1301 or 1305 dash, and then the name of their project. And that may help them stay more organized as well, because they'll know what classes are, what project is related to what class.
Absolutely. In fact, I've done that in previous years. That is a great, see, there we go. There's my psych.
Exactly.
And yeah, so it definitely helps with that organizing of things. So yes. So, and so I want to show you, once you have a bibliography, what you can do. Does anybody have any questions about, I don't know if you did really create a sample yet. I'm hoping afterwards you're going to just want to make all sorts of bibliographies.
Would you show Linda how to put in a source from a database directly? I will. Okay, well, let me do that. Let me do the so this is my, I'm going to just stick it in this sustainability example to share one. And I will find, I'm going to go back out to our regular site. That's what you're seeing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm going to select a database. I'm just going to go to a database, and I'm going to pick our Academic Search Complete.
Do a Gale, because it's easier.
Well, that's true, Gale. You're right. Academic one file, and we know which ones are Gale. Sometimes they say on them, but it's you'll find it. But Academic one file is really good. Yeah, and so I'm going to keep on my sustainability theme. Going to go to advanced search. I'm going to go with circular economy and fashion. And I always like to do the asterisk and then search. And so I find my great article. I've got 9 academic articles. And this one's good, 9,000 words. I'll pick this one. It's in Clothing Cultures magazine. I take a look at it. I determined that, yes, indeed, this is a great article, right? Okay, lots and lots of citations in there. So it looks authoritative. Then I can come down to the bottom of the article, very bottom, and I can export to NoodleTools, directly to NoodleTools. you need to be already logged in. So I am. So that's best to be logged in already. Otherwise, it's going to ask you to log in at that point. So hopefully this will go straight into my NoodleTools. You can see there's that cut and paste, you know, like if I wanted to cut and paste it. But in this case, it's just going to send it directly there. And the nice thing is it actually says, hey, does it look right? And yes, it does. So I'm going to import it to the sustainability example. It gives me the other options. So I can actually select the projects. Again, if I have multiple projects. So I'm going to import it. It's refashioning the garment industry. And gives me a green light that it did it. And now I can go back to NoodleTools, sources, and
You may have to refresh the page.
yes, I was gonna say I need to refresh it.
Yeah.
So, and there it is, right? There it is. In fact, it's the one I haven't done green or red yet. See,
Yeah.
refashioning the garment industry. Yes.
Just to explain why I emphasized Gale. Gale has it where the integration is complete. Most of our other databases now also allow NoodleTools, including EBSCO. But EBSCO is a little clunky
Little
because
fussy.
with their whole list of different styles that they offer, and with the export button, you first see other platforms, and then the NoodleTools is kind of at the end. In addition, I've had 2 cases where I used it with a student in a book librarian session, and it didn't import 100% correct. It took the first and last name as the last name of the author. And so when we did the works cited list, we noticed that it was wrong, and we could go back and fix it. But I don't think EBSCO is a very reliable importer. So for EBSCO, it's better to just copy and paste the citation.
Yes, and our Credo, if I showed you to our Credo reference is very good. They also have a NoodleTools. So they're coming along. Yes, and we always do the caution with everything because, and I love to show students too, sometimes, you know, it'll be all caps for the article or something like that. So, but the nice thing, and this is one of the things I wanted to show you right now is, so this, whatever, I have the project in, if I've decided, okay, oh, cool. They see sustainability, it actually moved it to this year, which is great. I just noticed that. Or it's one I'm working on now. But if I went, oh no, the teacher said, they said AP, they said MLA and I did APA, okay. Or maybe, God forbid, you're using the same sources for another class. Shh, nobody ever does that, right? So if you wanted to change your style, it's just a click. I can go to MLA and it will actually change how it looks. And it'll actually create a backup. So it's like, oh no, I messed up. I mean, obviously you can change it back or not, but so this is, so that's kind of nice. There's the MLA one and then APA with the same bibliography, which I think is very handy for them. Okay. So I'm going to go back to these features on the left in a little bit, but the first thing I wanted to do is to show you. So now that I have a full bibliography, I've done journal articles and a lecture in there and everything. Well, the next thing I want to do is I want to actually see how it's going to look, right? So again, I've done this as a blue. I'm going to add this one. I decided, you know, if I tag them, if I want to use them or not. Going to tag this one as a blue, as a red. I'm not going to use this one. Okay. So I've tagged in the different colors. Then I'm going to come up here to the very top and it says export print. And that's where I'm going to decide that I'm going to use just the green ones. I'm going to export it to Word, but it also, as you see, the students like Google Docs, it goes to Google Docs. You can also preview it as a web page, but I'm going to go to Word. And I'm going to just ask for the green lights. Okay, you get how that works. You just, whatever you've checked. And so I'm going to submit this. And down here, I'm hoping you can see this in the corner, is my doc in Word. And hopefully, I think I'm going to have to,
Should be able to open it, yeah.
yeah, I should be able to open it, but I think I have to stop share and then I have to share again, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to do that. And now I will have my, maybe looks like it's there. And where's my little doc? There's my doc. And, okay, ready to, yeah. And this is much, much more fun when I do it in person, but ta-da! Do you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, because it did something funky. It did the,
Sometimes it's kind of slow.
screen share. I have to go to screen 1. It went to the screen 2. Are you seeing it now? Share. There we go.
There we go.
Let me try this again. This is my Harry Potter wand. There is my bibliography. And what I want to point out, uncategorized sources, is it's put the number at the very top. It's actually put references because it's actually an APA source. And can you see other things that might be of interest to students? Y'all just shout out what it's done for me.
Hanging indents.
Yes. What else?
Which is very hard for them to figure out.
That hanging indent. How about that?
Yeah.
How's it written? I mean, y'all know this because you're teachers, but it's
The italics.
yep.
Mm.
Put italics.
Alphabetized. I mean, the
Yes,
whole thing is
alphabetized.
basically correct.
Yes. And it's basically it's formatted it. I know this isn't, but even like the fact that how many names, like what name, APA, how many names do you stop at before you do et al? It knows, okay? It knows exactly when to do that and when not. So that's kind of a nice thing. Putting the date in the right place. And, and then it's editable. So say the teacher said, no, I don't need the DOI. Then you could just, it's actually in Word now, so you can change it up. So it's very much, and I love that it puts references at the top or works cited in the case of MLA. So yeah, so that's the citation. Let me go ahead and go back to NoodleTools and bring that back up. Let's see. There we go. Hopefully I'll save my document. Oops. Back to sharing. And we're back in the NoodleTools. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my projects and I'm going to go back to, well, first of all, any questions about the bibliography? Thumbs up or thumbs down or don't really care? Do you think it'd be?
Add that one of the reasons, because we have talked about, we got NoodleTools, a year and a half ago? Mm-hmm. And we've introduced it in classes and we've talked about it in our communications with faculty. But and it has grown. There's a fair amount of people that are using it. But I also had an online student in a book librarian session, and I showed it to her, and she said, "How come nobody told us about this?" So
Of course you
it
did.
can use more explanation, because for students, this is a huge help.
Well, and so much of this is point of need. So
Right.
it's not, it's if it's right before the project is due. And that kind of brings me to my next here. I'll show you another kind of fun feature. That's when they may remember it most, because you may have told them at the beginning of the semester, we might have told them, we have signs everywhere, but there's so much information coming at them. But it is useful, and you're welcome to put the little URL with the LibGuide on NoodleTools in to Canvas. It's in our library module, which hopefully you've put into your Canvas class, but you can put this directly in an assignment, even having them create an account and show you one citation from the account. They could screenshot this, for example. So having said that, so yes, so we know that students are, whoa, there we are. The, wanted to show you the example, the things on the side here. Let's see, there we go. Oh, expand, there we go. So one of the things that you can do, and Tosca is going to talk a little bit more about this, but I'll show you my example. So I did a little to-do list. So what your students can do is they can create their own little to-do list.
We're seeing the LibGuide. We're seeing the library guide, not your tools.
Are you? Okay. Next share. Thank you.
You may just have to go over a tab or something.
There we go. That's it. Did that work?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what I did was all I did was click on here on this to-do list within my project, and I've created a little to-do list for me. I've first of all, I put I'll go back to my research question, but you can see right here, I've done the start research for my project, and then just like I really do, procrastinate, and the dates that I will do this, and then panic and ask the professor for more time. You got to put that in there, and then panic, finish research, write paper, and turn in final report. So this is super handy, and I just found out through my colleague Tosca that a teacher can do comments, and you can actually send them something for their to-do list. So you could actually, since I know that's a little extra for you, but you could actually, especially for a student who's struggling, that might be very, very useful. So yeah. And then I was just going to show you up here that these are the research. When you click on this, you could do the research question and a thesis. And so again, that's always the hardest place to start. But again, a student could send that to you directly to show you that they've actually worked in NoodleTools. It's a real good help for walking them through their assignments. So I've covered a whole lot. I know a lot of them aren't using necessarily note cards or anything anymore. One of the features that I love the best is on these sources that each one gives you so many choices. And one of the things that they're always having trouble with is if it's a United States document, a government document, the government documents, the court cases, those are so hard. The blogs, the things like that, there's those are so much easier if they've got blanks to fill in. And even like the difference between a regular book or an ebook or sound recordings, podcasts, it just walks you through everything very easily. And so they have no excuse like to just say, oh, I'm just going to put just the URL. Well, no, you really can't do that. You can, you really need to do the audio podcast and then put in all of that information. And then once they do that, it organizes it for them, which can be super handy. And we really, we do a service to them because we should allow them to use things like podcasts, which can be really great information, depending on which podcast it is. But we won't talk about that. No, I mean, seriously, there's, some that are more, that are, just more professionally done, just like newspapers and blogs and such. Yeah. So there's okay, so let me look at the questions and you all can. Okay. Yes, we will have,
Yeah, I already answered it.
great, we will, yes, because it's
Yeah.
a lot. Go ahead.
Well, because we have like 5 minutes left, right, Amanda?
Yes.
So I will quickly say some stuff about the faculty side. So as you noticed, I asked Linda whether she was sharing, whether she was signed in as a teacher or as a student. And so the students create a student account, and you can create actually both. I have both. And now I have to see here, let me see. Okay, this is my student account. And what I'll show you here, just because I did it recently, is that here the teacher has made a comment. So as with a teacher account, you can share with your students, and you can ask them to submit things, and you can give feedback within the NoodleTools platform. I will add to the LibGuide the link to the page where the help is with all that walks you through it. Some of this can be done, of course, through Canvas. Of course, when NoodleTools was developed, it was principally developed for places where there was no Canvas or other projects, but other platforms. Now let me go back and change my share. New share.
While you're doing that, I'm going to answer the quick question in chat.
Right?
And absolutely, yes, if you want a one-on-one session on this, we are happy to do that with you. Please just give us a call.
I put the link in for Book a Librarian in the chat as well. So if you want to just book up an appointment with us, you can do so as well. We're in the process of adding the fall availability. So if you give us until a couple of days, we will have all the availability for Book a Librarian.
All right. One thing you can do that I think is very useful as a teacher, from the teacher platform, you can create a template of a paper. Because we've talked a lot about using this for citations, and that's kind of the hook for the students. However, if you use the note cards and an outline, then students can see and they can learn to better build their papers. I'm going to go back to my student view for a moment, and I'm going to show the, did I do it? No, I didn't. In the wrong one. Yeah. This is a sample project that's given as an example within the template for students. So this person created the template, and this is their example. Their topic. And they've created note cards. And if you go into the note cards, see them here, and you can also go and click on outline. And you see that these note cards come back here. I have another project where I have some, and you can, if you can always move them around if you're working on. So you can use the note cards to keep track of the in-text citations, any other notes, and then you can organize them within the platform. Students can also add each other and share their projects if they're in a group project. So there's even the potential for the teacher to see which student, if they share, How many note cards did they contribute, if that's an important thing for you?
And
There
Tasha,
also is something that we have not done yet, but if there's a desire, there is a way to automatically, as a batch, load an account, create accounts for a number of students. So if you have, especially if it's a beginning English class, for instance, and you really want to work on building that, creating the paper, that could be a good thing to do. So we're out of time.
and that's the question I was going to ask you to answer. Let's see, Dale has asked, does it automatically know who your students are so you have access to their accounts? You don't have access unless they send, like you say, send something to me, and you don't really have access to see their accounts.
Well,
They send
yeah,
you.
I think you could approach it two ways. You could ask me to add all of them, and then they don't create their own account. That handicaps them a little bit, because for another class, they would have to create another account. Or you could ask them, say, create an account and give me your login, not the name, but your login name, not the password or anything like that. And then when you share the project, you add them to your inbox and your mailing list. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
So I created an account, and my username is Dale.Robinson. So I just give them that name and say, share it with Dale.Robinson, and I can see it. Is that?
Yes, or you could do it the other way around and add their names to whoever you share with. The sharing and the inbox is a little, I just learned to do it. And so I'll send everybody the instructions, and I'll put them in the library guide too, the page with the instructions, because the platform instructions are very good and with lots of screenshots. And that way you can work yourself through it.
I've added
Thank
the
you.
link to the survey in the chat. If you would take a few moments to complete that, please, if you are available to do so.